badge. 2 badge. Billion time. Bang.
Maybe we created him. All of us.
There's no connection.
We never stopped to think that Daredevil's actions could open the door for men like this.
How much longer before innocent people start getting caught in his crossfire? Blood is being shed.
And you've donated more than your fair share.
The city needs him.
I need to take care of the scum that killed my family.
People don't have to die.
You hit them and they get back up. I hit them and they stay down. Why are you doing this? Because I think you're a half measure. I think you're a man who can't finish the job. I think that you're a coward.
So, okay. Here are the positives. One of the things that I love about this show is the noir cinematography. I mean, it was gorgeous last season, and this season has been elevated to stellar. Like, bringing on House of Cards director of photography Martin Algren was such a smart play. And I love the little editing techniques of interspersing action sequences with external character dialogue and plot threads like you do in the comics. They really stepped up their game when it came to the fight choreography. You know, you have stunt coordinator Philip J. Silvera creating these incredibly brutal sequences, and this is the same guy that worked on the action sequences for Deadpool, the Arkham Origin, and Star Wars trailers, and more. Plus, I really applaud the series for not shying away from visualizing the gore, because it's important to really demonstrate to the audience how savage hand-to-hand combat sequences can be, especially when it comes to a character like the Punisher. You cannot skimp out when it comes to that kind of a character, so it was really a relief to see him bashing in skulls, blowing someone's face off, and massacring an entire cell block of men in the prison hallway. Plus, to see him lying in a pool of their blood and having it faintly form into the shape of a skull was just a delightful soupçon of badass. And you needed that level of gore and violence to do justice to the Punisher. And John Bernthal's performance was aces, by the way. I mean, initially we're introduced to him as this unhinged, homicidal, vengeful Terminator, but by virtue of what Bernthal brought to the table, he humanized Frank Castle and heartening the audience to empathize with him. And by the way, the monologue at the end of episode 4 about his daughter has to be his submission for Emmy consideration. I guess another favorite element for me was Karen's subplot of breaking into investigative journalism. I love the dynamic between her and Ellison, the editor, and how he's teaching her the process of how news pieces evolve. I mean, remember that scene where Karen's really upset because she thinks that her story's dead, but the editor's like, no, it's just evolved. So what has it become now? And I loved seeing that because that's truly how it happened. So I hope that they keep her on that newsroom, West Wing type of story, because when it comes to plot threads, that dog will hunt. So let's talk about Elektra. Deadly combatant, intelligent strategist, and a sultry Sazerac. Truth be told, I heard an old lady saying that once. Sounded funny? Started using it. But anyways, Elodie Young as Elektra truly brought a new element of suspense and sexiness to the table. It's just such a shame to see her saddled with such bad writing in the second half of the season. You know what this season's like? It's like when you drive up to Vegas with your buddies and you decide to hit the blackjack tables for a bit, and you watch your buddy and he's up by $3,000, so you're just like, dude, that was awesome, but the tables are gonna get cold, let's grab our drinks, walk the floor, maybe hit up Tao. But this is the time to walk away. But then he stupidly doubles down and loses everything, leaving you frustrated because you're like, dude, you had it! That's what this season is like. What a disappointment for Daredevil to end on such a bad, sour note. This was bad storytelling. And you know what? I get it. Daredevil returned, sans its series creator Drew Goddard, and last season's showrunner Stephen S. DeKnight at the helm, but after Jessica Jones was so incredibly well executed, it's just really unfortunate as an avid fan to have to sit here and tell the truth and say that Daredevil devolved into this bloated, convoluted mess of a season. I mean, not only did it lose its footing when it was presented to us as this grounded, gritty series, but it's totally jumped the shark with the Hand and the Black Sky plot. I mean, what was that? Like, for instance, this whole weird blood farming and rebirth chamber or whatever, not only do I really not understand what's going on, but more importantly, I don't care, because you didn't take the time to flesh out and really drive home why this matters. There's also bad writing throughout the entirety of this season. Matt's little speech in the courtroom while he's questioning the defendant was not only horrendously written, but also laughable at best. And in the logic of the framework of the courtroom, that would never happen, especially when you have that kind of a bitchy DA who would have objected so fast given her previously established character development. Not to mention that while I completely understand and sympathize with Matt's character, I 100% have been through years of a relationship that not only was she crazy, but it drives you crazy too. Your job as writers is to make sure that by the end of the season, in spite of whatever happens to the characters, your audience is still sympathetic with your protagonist. And you didn't do that. But legitimately, the last time that we should have seen anything about Elektra should have been when she was at the private airport and just cut it off prior to the fight sequence, prior to the whole stick character, which needs to be excised from future seasons. And by the way, where is Foggy coming from at the end? Like, I get the fact that he said that Brett called him, but Brett would call for backup, not Foggy. And please don't get me started on the implausibility of the blacksmith story as left by the end of the season, which leads me to suspect that y'all really didn't know where to go with the last third of the season. I mean, I swear, the last third has plot holes bigger than whatever the hand was digging, to which my cousin the screenwriter would call a mortal sin, because the inflated, incoherent ending is completely inexcusable, especially when your production is episodic in structure, so you have the time and the space to really explore everything that you're trying to put on the table. So for Petrie and Ramirez to metaphorically take a crystal vase of the first, second, thirds of the season and have it be shattered in the end deserves to be addressed. But in the golden age of television, we the audience expect better, deserve better, and know better. I still would recommend that you watch it, but at least temper your expectations prior to streaming it. And remember, please subscribe so that you are notified in your newsfeed when the next video is uploaded. Please remember to give this video a like and share it about. Help support this channel by checking out and using any of the links in the description below. You people are awesome as always, and thanks for watching.